in a television studio shows Phil Hartman and Jan Hook sitting in chairs. Hartman: "Hello, I'm Hill Hartman, and welcome to this year's 5th installment of SNL's Crazy Critics, where one of our in-house critics critiques the last SNL episode. Joining us this week is amphibians rights activist Janelle Hunter, who has a penchant for sleeping with SNL cast members. Welcome, Janelle." Hooks: "I also sleep with SNL host Phil, and let's just say that when I hooked up with Aquaman Jason Momoa, he got me very wet." Hartman: "Okay, very good." Hooks: "And besides Jason, after my little tryst with Chloe Trost this week, I'm happy to say that I've gotten to at least third base with the entire cast." Hartman: "Good for you. Now, what did you think of the cold open?" Hooks: "Well, I always have a great day with Mikey, if you know what I mean. And he did a great job as Biden. And Bowen came out as a panda who didn't like sex. And he should get an Emmy for that, because I know firsthand that that's not true for Bowen." Hartman: "Isn't Bowen gay?" Hooks: "Well, with me, he's a switch hitter." Hartman: "Okay, and what did you think of Jason Momoa's monologue?" Hooks: "I loved it. He talked about his upbringing and how his career started, and he promoted his new water company. But I'm a little disappointed he didn't bring up our joint venture regarding saving the amphibian population in Hawaii. Do you know how many frogs lost their habitats in the Maui wildfires?" Hartman: "No, I don't." Hooks: Seven frogs lost their habitats, and luckily people like Jason are helping me restore their habitats. I just wish he had mentioned it." Hartman: "Okay, and what did you think of the sketch Old-Timey Movies?" Hooks: "Michael Longfellow, who has a very long fellow, if you know what I mean, portrayed L. Frank Baum in an old movie, but he kept getting blocked by Mikey and Jason, and eventually Chloe and Keenan as well, which reminded me of the great freeway I had with them the other night, where Chloe was doing a Timothy Chalamet impression, and her and Keenan railed me all night long." Hartman: "Good God! What did you think of the video sketch Roman Empire?" Hooks: "It was a very funny concept of the ladies thinking their men were growing distant, even though they were just thinking of ancient Rome. But I didn't like that Jason and Ego's son in the video was thinking about dinosaurs. Did you know amphibians were around during the time of dinosaurs? They're the class of animals that never get any respect. Why think of a T-Rex when you can think of hellbenders, the largest amphibians in North America? They can grow up to 28 inches long and up to 5 pounds. Hartman: "We get it, Janelle. You love amphibians. How about the next sketch, Nightclub Line?" Hooks: "Well, I thought it was very funny. It made no sense. How could bouncers at a club think Sarah Sherman was an ugly person? She's absolutely beautiful, and while her stand-up stage name is Sarah Squirm, in my experience, her name should be Sarah Squirt." Hartman: "Moving on." Hooks: "If I wasn't being clear, I mean that Sarah squirts her female juice all over the place." Hartman: "That was understood, Janelle. What did you think of the next sketch, Hudson News Thanksgiving Week Parade?" Hooks: "This one was very funny, with Bowen and Ego as TSA agents commenting on all the various people in the airport during the busiest time of the year. However, I was distracted by Ego, as her various gyrations reminded me of our most recent tryst, where we dipped each other's lady bits in ice cream and had ourselves a sexy sundae." Hartman: "No chocolate?" Hooks: "Oh, Ego provided all the chocolate I could eat. Hartman: "How about the Please Don't Destroy video, Ramen?" Hooks: "I thought it was very funny. The sketch had a great Seinfeld-like premise, where they were ordering food and John got dumped during it, and as he was trying to vent, Ben and Martin were still trying to order the food. It was great. Plus, there was a great cowbell reference. I love the PDD guys. As I said the last time I was on here, the 4 of us filmed a great gangbang video that I hope they haven't destroyed. And shout out to them on their new movie, Foggy Mountain. Other than the lack of amphibian representation, I thought it was great. It could have been called Froggy Mountain." Hartman: "Very good. What did you think of Tate McRae's musical performance?" Hooks: "Oh, it was amazing. God, she's a sexy young lady. I don't know if she's of age yet, but boy, would I love to Tate her McRae, if you know what I mean. Hardman: I'm not sure I do, but anyway, what did you think of Weekend Update? Hooks: well, I've always loved Josie, Colin, and Shane Michael, if you know what I mean. Hardman: I don't know what you mean. Hooks: it means I love fucking them, okay? God, you gotta learn to pick up on euphemisms involving last names. Anyway, Update was great as usual. Jay's prediction that Trump was going to win in 24 was scary, as he doesn't have a great track record in amphibian advocacy. Hardman: a very pressing issue. Hooks: of course. And Bowen, wow, his George Santos made me want to Bowen his Yang. Devin's Draymond Green made me want to Devin his Walker. And James and Andrew's Remember Lizard segment made me want to James Austin his Johnson and Andrew is Dismukes. Though I could have used an amphibian in the band name instead of Lizard. Hardman: to be clear, these are sexual innuendos when you say you want to first name their last name? Hooks: that's right. Hardman: moving on, what did you think of the next sketch, Castaway? Hooks: I thought it was very funny, Jason being Chloe's ex, who made her new partner Andrew feel threatened. All I can say is I wanted to Jason his Momoa when he took his shirt off. And of course I always loved to Chloe her Feynman, if you know what I mean. She just does the best impressions in the sack. It's unbelievable. Hardman: now assuming you'll just say you want to Tate her McRae again, after Miss McRae's second performance, what did you think of the video sketch Untold Stories Battle of the Sexes? Hooks: well, honestly, I think this video may have stolen the show. Seeing Sarah's head blown off was amazing. But even before that, having Sarah have a hole in her stomach? However, the last thing Sarah needs is a fourth hole. It takes me all night to satisfy her first three. Hardman: good God. And finally, the last sketch of the evening, Cab Driver. Hooks: it was very funny as Jason was a cab driver driving Keenan, with Jason getting a call from his doctor on speakerphone. And through that, I finally figured out that it was Jason who was the one who gave me herpes. And Dead from the Earth, we're not alive. It's Saturday Not to Lie, starring John Belushi, Chris Farley, Phil Hartman, Jen Hooks, Norm MacDonald, Gilda Radner, Danitra Vance, and with many other special deceased contributors. Musical guest, George Brown, and your host, Herb Sargent. Everybody, Herb Sargent. Applause, applause, applause. Show Sargent standing on stage who says, thank you, thank you. I was a man of few words, so I'll just say that we have a great show tonight. John Belushi comes out and says, whoa, Herb, come on, buddy, you got to say something about yourself. Sargent: no, sorry, that's just not me. Belushi: well, let me say then on your behalf that Herb Sargent was a veteran comedy writer and producer. He was at SNL from its inception, and he was the one who came up with the moniker the Not Ready for Primetime Players. And he co-created Weekend Update and helped make it one of the most successful recurring sketches in the history of television. Applause, applause, applause. Belushi: and therefore, what better way to honor Herb than with a quick Weekend Doug Update segment? The Weekend Doug Update desk is rolled out on the stage. Belushi sits behind it and says, nearly all the bums were cleared out of San Francisco with Chinese leader Xi Jinping coming for an Asian-Pacific Economic Cooperation meeting, but they, of course, couldn't hide one bum. A picture of Joe Biden appears behind Belushi. Belushi: speaking of President Biden, his re-election campaign is reportedly weighing privately whether to join the Chinese-owned social media platform TikTok. Of course, they won't let President Biden himself anywhere near the app, what with all the videos of underage girls dancing. This just in, we've gotten word that this monologue is bombing worse than a Palestinian hospital. Dozens of young Americans have posted videos on TikTok this week expressing sympathy with Osama bin Laden, the notorious terrorist who orchestrated the September 11 attacks, for a 2-decade-old letter he wrote critiquing the United States, including its government and support of Israel. In response, dozens of other Americans have posted on Instagram that the only way to defeat bin Laden is to invade Iraq under false pretenses. And finally, Generalissimo Francisco Franco is still dead. Sargent. Thank you, John. We have a great show for you tonight. George Brown, drummer for Kool and the Gang, is here, so get ready for a jungle boogie. We'll be right back.